Hello viewers. Today I will talk about the Cannizzaro reaction. Yesterday I had made a video on aldol condensation. Now it's time to move on the next naming reaction, which is called the Cannizzaro reaction. So here's a few points that I will tell you that what is the basic mechanism of a Cannizzaro reaction and which one reactants are used in there and what are the main concept of this reaction. So first of all, I will tell you the main 3 points of the Cannizzaro reaction. The first one point is that aldehyde that have no alpha hydrogen atom undergoes Cannizzaro reaction. So what is alpha hydrogen atom? Just write the alpha hydrogen atom. So aldehyde that have no alpha hydrogen atom undergoes Cannizzaro reaction. First of all, I will tell you what is alpha hydrogen atom. So look at here. This is the formula of the acetaldehyde. As we know that this one is called the carbonyl group and this is a functional group, and those carbon atom which is directly attached with the carbonyl group is called the alpha carbon, because this is the first carbon that is directly attached with the carbonyl group is alpha carbon. If that one carbon is called the alpha carbon, obviously hydrogen atom that is directly attached with the alpha carbon is also called the alpha hydrogen. So in the Cannizzaro reaction, we use those aldehyde that have no alpha hydrogen, just like that. H, C, double bond and H. So this is called the formaldehyde because in this compound, in this formula, we don't have any carbon, alpha carbon. If we don't have any alpha carbon, obviously there is no alpha hydrogen. So this type of compounds we used in this Cannizzaro reaction. So the next point is that this type is called the disproportionation reaction. Why we call the disproportionation reaction? Just because of the self-oxidation and reduction. Self-oxidation, reduction mean within a one molecule oxidation and reduction will take place. And the third point is that in this reaction, two molecules of aldehyde are used in this reaction. So by follow these three statements, what will be the product of this reaction? So there will be a two product here. The one will be alcohol and the second one is a salt. So it means that the end product of the Cannizzaro reaction is alcohol and the second one is a salt. Now it's time to write the example of the Cannizzaro reaction and as well as the mechanism of this reaction. So first of all, I'm just writing the example here, Cannizzaro reaction. Look at this, two molecule of aldehydes are used. So I will write the two molecule of aldehyde. And one more thing, the Cannizzaro reaction take place in the presence of the sodium hydroxide ion. Why we use the sodium hydroxide ion in Cannizzaro reaction? Because this sodium hydroxide ion generate a hydroxide ion. And these hydroxide ion act as a nucleophile. So here, what will be formed? The one will be alcohol and another will be a salt. We just left the space here. And after completing the mechanism, I will write the end product here. Okay. Now it's time to write the mechanism of an Cannizzaro reaction. So this is called the mechanism. In the first step, you can write the A1 here. In the first step, one molecule of a formaldehyde react with the hydroxide ion. So hydroxide ion, how we generate this hydroxide ion? We know that sodium hydroxide ion after dissociation produce Na positive and OH negative. These hydroxide ions act as a nucleophile. If this hydroxide ion is act as a nucleophile, so obviously this hydroxide ion will attack on an electrophile. Which one compound is called the electrophile? That is a deficiency of electron. So here the negative ion of the hydroxide ion will attack on the carbon atom and after that the bond will move toward the oxygen. So here the reaction will be just like that. So obviously when we are talking about the nucleophile and electrophile attack, so this one is called the reversible reaction, because when sodium hydroxide is attacked on that condition, so this bond will be shifted toward the oxygen, and after that the reaction will be a restart and reaction will be reconverted, and they form against the reactant. Again, reactant and product will be converted to each other. So what will be the product here? Carbon, this hydrogen, and this one hydrogen, and here this one oxygen, negative, because this bond move toward oxygen, so negative, and on this side there will be a OH negative. So we call them an ine just because of the negative. Okay, now it's time to move step number 2. So as you know that in Cannizzaro reaction, 2 molecules of a formaldehyde are used. So one molecule of a formaldehyde I have already used, and other molecule of a formaldehyde react with this anion. So the next step, formaldehyde will react on this one anion. Okay, we just place a line and put a line to differentiate between 2 points. This straight reaction is called the step number 1, and this one is called the step number 2. So what will be the step number 2? Just this bond, this negative charge will be shifted toward this bond, and as you know that carbon satisfies its valency when carbon has a 4 electron, 4 bonds. So here 1 2 3 4, there's a total 4 bond in the carbon atom. So what will be happen here? This bond will move toward this carbon atom, and this type of bond will be transferred toward the oxygen. So what will be the next product here? Carefully write the next product. So look at this carbon, okay, this one hydrogen, that hydrogen, and the complete bond will move toward the carbon. So obviously this hydrogen is also moved toward the carbon, and that one oxygen, O negative. You can also write this type of compound just like that, because 3 hydrogen atoms, CH3 and O negative. Okay, the next product is, look at this, hydrogen, this carbon, double bond, and hydrogen. Got it? So this is called the formic acid. So it means that we can use the Cannizzaro reaction to convert the formaldehyde into a formic acid, and this one compound is called the meth oxide ions. Okay, now it's time to move on a step number 3. Okay, and step number 3, this methoxide ion will again react with the formic acid. So here CH3O negative, and you just flip the bond, just flip the molecule. Hydroxide ion moved here and this hydrogen will move here. So we can write HO hydroxcarbonyl and this one. Got it? So what will be happen here? This negative ion will accept the proton, and the bond will be shifted from here to here. So the final product is that CH3OH plus O negative carbonyl and hydrogen. As you know that in the first step, when we dissociate the sodium hydroxide, hydroxide ion has been used here, but still sodium is there. So when sodium is present in this reaction, this negative ion will attract on the Na positive, and this Na positive will be placed here. So what we call them, this one is called the methanol, and this is called the salt. So as I have already told you that in a Cannizzaro reaction, the two end product The one is called the methanol, means alcohol, and other is called the salt. So we can write both these products in this space, CH3OH, and here is Na positive, O negative, and carbonyl and hydrogen. So this one is called the Cannizzaro reaction. If you like this video, for more video, make sure to subscribe this channel.